The horrors of probate court, terrible weather, back to school, all coming up next on the Morning Waffle. Okay, we're back. We're not going to talk about much of that stuff. We're just kidding.
No, it's not as fun. We're just sidebar talking.
Sidebar. Probate sucks. You should have a trust.
I agree. As a realtor, I agree.
As a lawyer, I agree. As a person who writes and sells trusts,
we're convincing Ballard to agree with our sidebar.
Hi, Beth. Good morning.
It's not that I'm even indifferent. It's just it's so hot outside I can't think straight.
Your brain melted?
Yeah, my brain melted walking from one end of the plaza to the other.
This may be the first time ever I have worn shorts on the Morning Waffle.
We're all wearing shorts, by the way.
Showing them knobby knees.
Yep.
I have a rule as a pastor. You know, we're pretty casual. Mm-hmm. We're very casual.
Yeah.
I most of the time wear jeans, but I have a rule that I won't show people my knees when I preach. Yeah. But I almost broke that on Sunday. I thought flip-flops and shorts sound all right. I got some pretty nice looking shorts.
I was preaching one time and I caught flack. I was wearing blue jeans when I was preaching, and I caught flack from one of the other elders because I was wearing sandals.
Oh,
he's like, I can see your toes. I'm like, Jesus wore sandals. Yeah. I don't see what the problem is here.
Jesus was the sandal OG. They literally have a type of sandal that people call Jesus sandals.
Because they hadn't invented Nikes yet.
Yeah.
Mine were like the Tevas, whatever, you know.
I could see your toes. The Lord made my toes.
That's right.
It's not so much that you had sandals on and that I could see your toes. It's that you hadn't had a pedicure in a while.
No, I hadn't. No, I didn't. I never.
Gnarled toes.
But, it's not that you showed your toes. You showed your old man toes.
I guess
that was the problem.
That's probably the problem right there. But
gosh, old man toes are a real thing.
And it became a commercial for toenail fungus.
There's a fungus among us.
But you know, we used to go barefoot still do barefoot all the time.
We're hillbillies. Yeah. Too.
Well, I mean, for me, it was the martial arts. We just walked around barefoot all the time.
Yeah.
And then you get, I can't stand to wear socks unless I'm wearing shoes. Just wearing socks drives me crazy.
I don't like wearing socks either.
And then there's the freaks that wear socks to bed. What is up with that?
I did as a kid. Now I'm thinking, what was my parents should have taught me better.
That's not right.
Yeah, it's disgusting. How could you do that now?
Hi, Emma.
Do you wear socks to bed, Emma?
We're going to take a poll.
I think in the wintertime it makes sense sometimes if you're cold, but
nope.
Yeah, I don't wear socks to bed. I'm not a serial killer. I'm pretty sure Jesse wears socks to bed in the wintertime.
He's sleeping with a axe murderer.
I am 100%.
So I married an axe murderer.
Oh boy,
that was the turning point. The socks.
What have I done? Okay, Emma agrees. Yeah, freaks.
Absolutely no socks to bed.
Can't be having that.
Psychos.
Oh my gosh, nobody's wearing socks to bed right now though.
So Shelby came home. Shelby came home yesterday from school. You know, she works the pickup line.
Oh, bless her.
And so she said,
does too.
She said the pickup line. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to hear about it. She's like, it was amazing.
It went good.
It went so good. I'm like, what? And she's like, Sheriff Cole,
Yep.
and 2 Rogersville police officers were there, and they directed traffic at the upper.
Wow.
I know. And
Accountability to do it right for the parents, huh?
Well,
yeah,
and
I think it was helpful.
I thought
Very
like
helpful.
they were standing on the parking lot, and she's like, no, they were just out on the road.
Yes.
Like making some traffic stop, getting people through, directing traffic, that ingress, egress.
Well, they were already like heroes, but to do that with a heat index of 115,
oh my gosh.
wow.
Yeah, best with the
wearing their full on long pants and long sleeves.
They did not have Officer Dangle shorts on. Yeah. I can't remember that show, but
Nevada.
What is it called?
Is that the one? Nevada PD or something? I don't know.
Reno 911. No Officer Dangle shorts, although that would be fun and something to talk
Water
about.
Your plants, not your pants. Thanks, Emma. That's good advice right
I can
there.
remember that one. That's good.
I'm switching out propane tanks because I'm switching propane companies, and so they came out yesterday to like do the inspection and all that stuff. And it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the dude comes out, and I'm like, "Yeah, the tank's over there. I'm back in the house."
I'm done.
Nuts.
It's terrible.
Just walking. If you have to go somewhere from the parking lot into a store is just not fun. Just stay home, people.
I was in and out all day yesterday. We've been pretty busy listing houses, and I would almost get nauseous every time I would be outside and then walk into a cold house because there was such a drastic temperature change. I mean, I was in and out all day long driving around Springfield. I was showing property last night at 5 o'clock, and I swear I was talking to my client. I'm like, this is the most humid I ever remember when it was this hot.
That's the thing is we've had heat waves of
like
even 2 or 3 weeks of 100 degrees.
Yes.
But it's usually in the Ozarks, it's either hot and dry, or it's humid and low 90s.
Tolerable,
but this is, I don't remember bumping triple digits with these kind of heat indexes.
I don't either.
In fact,
I don't either.
So we saw it coming. So we planned soccer practice. We knew we wouldn't be allowed on the field after school. So we planned to have training at 6:30 to 8:30. Even at 6:30. So you know what a wet bulb test is? This is what all the athletic trainers use now.
I don't know
So
what that is.
it takes basically a composite score of weather, or temperature, humidity, wind. Missing something. There's like 5 variables, and then there's a composite score. So I think the number is 92. We have to be at 92. If we, to be able to go out there.
Kind of considered safe to
right.
practice,
And I think last night at 6:30 when we wanted to go out there, it was still up around 96.
Wow.
So we got on the field. We started with film because we had the Jamboree on Friday night. We watched for an hour, and then as it was getting dark at 7:30, we got an hour's worth of practice under the lights. It's just, and the boys were drenched because it's so humid out with the heat.
Weird.
It's weird. It's extremely weird. And so if you've ever heard people say, it's at least it's a dry heat.
Yeah, it's
this is not a dry heat.
There's truth to that. I would rather deal with 105 degrees of dry heat than 115 heat index.
Yeah,
because that is something.
Well, Springfield set a record. I think at 122 heat index yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that was a record.
It truly is oppressive.
The heat index, I get it, but it's a little bit made up too. I mean, there's not really a scientific. I mean, I guess there's a little bit, but it's kind of
okay. So they take the numbers. It's not like we know for a fact it feels like 122
degrees
right
now.
It's a guess.
That's interesting.
It's an educated guess, I would say.
But they're not wrong in the concept.
No,
I know for a fact. I've never felt humidity and heat.
Humidity
like
plus high temps is insane.
Well, and just like the cold chill factor or whatever they talk about. I mean, you can. I mean, if it's 32 degrees and there's no wind, you can stand. You can stand out. You can
I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm
but if it's 37 and the wind's blowing, you're freezing your tail off.
That's exactly
it's a whole
right.
different thing.
37 pouring down rain and the wind's blowing is just another level.
In the mud. Yeah,
right.
But,
I walked into the primary to pick up Clara, and I was kind of in a hurry, and I looked into the primary office because the primary is where, kids get bused to transfer, especially at the elementaries, I think. And I look in, and there's several of the administrators, and I mean, they are drenched in sweat. You can tell that they have been busting their tails trying to get these kids home. And it's always hard the first week of school, especially the first day. Because, you got a bunch of kids, you're herding like cats trying to get to the right place. And I felt so bad for them because, they're just absolutely drenched in sweat. And it's like, it's hard to do your job in a normal day in the school, but add 100 degrees and cranky little grumps.
Index.
They did a great job. Yeah. But I thought traffic flowed great the first day of school.
You're bringing up something new, this positivity about the the pickup line, which is great news.
Yeah.
I've heard so much positivity in general.
I have too.
Last week, I felt like the teachers were all highly energized. I'm married to one.
Yeah.
But talking to others, there just seemed to be, all the weirdness of 2020 seems to be
It's finally
truly
melted
and well
away.
past us,
Yes.
the negativity. And so I think we've got good leadership in place, but there just seems to be a fresh wind, if you will, about
I agree.
Just what's going on with school in general. I got to be a part of the community-wide prayer time last
We were
Sunday
going to go.
night.
We skipped it because it was so hot.
Don't think for a second.
Like,
It wasn't.
pray
Put
from
Beth's
home.
comment up. Put Beth's comment up. This is perfect. If you don't like the heat, make sure you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior.
Amen, Beth. Good job.
Perfect timing on a Beth's comment.
use
Is that
the
a
weather
dry-
for
is-
evangelism.
But that's a dry heat, right?
Right. That's a dry. I don't know. Probably not. It's probably
all the
all the
heat.
heat and all the
You got
humidity.
misters and-
Yeah.
Not
No,
good.
the
You don't
prayer
wanna do
time,
that.
it's FCA, Appleseed, and Young Life. I think all of them, they came together to call the community to prayer. And it was a good showing. I mean, I
That's
think
good.
there were, even in the heat, because it did cross my mind. Like, I could pray from home.
Yeah,
I don't
we
want to
did.
be
I
out
could
there.
We'll
pray
pray
from
from
home.
home.
I
tonight.
came home. At one point, I'm praying. And it's going to sound like I'm trying to be super spiritual. I'm not, but I'm dripping, and I thought, okay, Lord, is this blood like with you in the garden? I felt it drip off my face, and I had to look like
blood.
it was pretty intensely in my prayers, but no, it was awesome. But it is good to hear the positivity. I've heard good things from the
I've heard
sports
good
teams
things,
with their jamborees and things from the teachers, and so it just everything seems to be
I
going.
think everybody's really excited
really well.
about Dr. Rocky Valentine.
I think so,
I think he's hit
absolutely.
the ground running. And
Rocky was one of those I saw and he was full blown dressed in a dress shirt and slacks, and I was
it's like, dude, you don't have to
Dude,
do
you're
that.
so-
You got the job.
Yeah. In fact, your teachers will love you if you just say, "Hey, week 1, shorts and a t-shirt,
Yeah.
sandals are totally appropriate this week."
yes. Oh my gosh.
You remember though, when I was in school, not all of our buildings had AC.
No, we
I
didn't.
didn't.
Yeah,
we
so
didn't
all
have
of my
AC.
elementary schools did not.
No, I graduated. After I graduated, that's when they got central air and heat
Yeah.
in Houston mode.
I'm trying to think if any of
I
my
was thinking
buildings
this.
had.
Well, I was thinking now. I wonder if there are still some of these smaller rural schools.
bet.
I don't know. Because we had to let out for heat when it got so.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they
We
would have started
did.
school this week.
There's
I
no way.
don't think they could have.
I do remember that happening once or twice.
Yeah,
We're
it
canceling
happened
for
about
the
every
heat.
year for us.
Yeah.
I mean, our buildings were brick. One of the middle school actually looked like a
like
giant
a brick-
oven,
brick pizza
like
oven.
a giant brick 3-story pizza oven. So could you imagine the heat on the 3rd floor of the brick building with no AC? Yeah, that was fun.
No, I remember those moments. Hey, go open all the windows, and you pull them open, and
This isn't helping.
maybe a little bit more breeze came in, but it was I had a hard enough time paying attention. But now it's
Yeah.
Open.
I just want to fall asleep, and
Yeah.
because of the heat is what I was thinking. But of course, looking out the windows didn't help either.
No, my house didn't have central air and heat until after I left. It was a conspiracy.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't. Mom and Dad did not have central air and heat. It
But
was
you had an attic fan, though, didn't you?
No, it was
Window units.
It was a colonial style house,
Wow.
and it was made to take a breeze. It basically had giant windows in every room, and we added window units as we got
Right, Beth.
one downstairs and one upstairs. But no, we'd no central air and heat. It had an old wood furnace. Well, I mean, I guess it was central heat, but yeah. So no. It took me leaving to get those things.
The houses that I grew up in until Mom and Dad built the house they live in now, and I think I was in 7th or 8th grade before we moved into there. That was the first time we had a house with central air. So it was window units.
I
before that.
grew up with it, but I also grew up at a time where my parents were very, just did not want to turn the AC on until you had to. And so I remember you'd have to, come in just red faced, sweating, and being like, "Can we please turn the AC on?"
Okay, but stand
Suck
over
it up,
the,
kid.
You got to stand over the register. Yeah.
That's right. Just cool off. Yeah, we'll turn it on. We're only turning it up to 80.
Yeah.
We're only turning it. Yeah.
I'm going to nerd on you real fast. So
Okay.
this is a grammar nerd. So the word nauseous, I heard you use it earlier.
Nauseous.
Yeah,
Nausea.
if you or something is nauseous, that means you make other things sick. If you yourself feel like throwing up,
Nauseated.
you are nauseated.
Really?
Yeah.
Really.
So that one is badly used by me.
Poorly used,
I'm not
you
going
might say.
to change it.
That's okay. You don't have to. Everybody knows what you mean. It's okay.
So you say I got nauseated instead.
I was nauseated.
I was
I was
not
nauseated.
Is
Yeah.
so nauseous.
Means if something is nauseous, it makes you sick.
And
Interesting.
And I want you to know you're not nauseous.
Yeah,
Well,
no, you're
thank you,
not.
friend.
You
I
were not
appreciate
nauseous,
that.
and that's really the point. Is you're not
Okay.
nauseous.
That's good to know.
Don't make-
Bear,
you don't-
I learned something
you
today.
don't make us sick.
Will I implement it in my life? No.
Probably not.
No, I won't.
Because then nobody else will know what you're talking about.
No.
Yeah.
No. Very interesting.
Speak
well,
the
not
culture around you, right?
Very interesting.
Oh boy, yeah.
So it's been hot. School started. Let's see what's going on. There was a scandal last week on PTA. I'll just address it.
Oh,
okay,
fun.
okay, PTA president.
We need like
Well-
Are you being voted out?
we need
No.
a little stinger
No.
here or something.
No,
We
because
need a
then
little
somebody else would have to step up.
Yeah.
So you're
sound
safe.
effects for that.
No.
Never has there been a safer job than you being PTA
Yeah, I
president.
don't think
Nobody
anybody's
else
coming
wants
for
that. Let's oust her. I want that. Said no one ever.
So
All right, sorry,
no, we
go on.
put out our flyer, and the flyer had the parties listed, and it had the events listed, and like a QR code to sign up if you want to be a room parent or whatever. And a couple days after the flyer gets put out, a post gets put out there, and I'm not going to say where or why or whatever, about the names of the parties. Okay, so on the paper, the parties were fall, winter, spring, Valentine's Day.
I thought you were going to say you had Jesus' birthday party on there or something.
No.
Somebody got upset.
In years past, I believe the parties had been named Halloween, Christmas,
Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Easter,
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Day, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, there was no conspiracy. They just got put on the paper that way.
Yeah. Well, the odd man
But
out there
that's-
is Valentine's Day.
Well, yeah, but what do you say? February,
Love month.
Late
that doesn't
winter.
go well. That doesn't go well.
party
late
love.
winter, and
It's a love party.
so I think the person who posted this thought that this was something that the school had decided. So I'm going to put this out there right now. It's not a school thing. It was the PTA's parties, and they also included the thing about the family Valentine's dance. It's no longer a mother-son, father-daughter event. It's a family Valentine's dance, which that was changed last year because there's not enough volunteers to run 2 full events. And, selfishly, too, a person like me who is a mom with 2 daughters didn't have an event to go to.
Oh.
Yeah, because I don't.
Yeah, because you need one more thing to do.
Yeah. So,
Well, yeah, it was all the mother-son stuff growing up. I never had anything. that I could do.
you wouldn't have anything. So it was decided then that we wouldn't try to do 2 of those events, that we just lump it into one big, fun family Valentine's dance. It had nothing to do with wokeness. It just literally had to do with the amount of volunteers and trying something different. Well, this post, 260 comments later,
Bam.
was about the time that somebody notified me about it on the night of my, we've done my grandfather's funeral, which was, it was a very good, day.
So this was a good time for controversy in your
that
life.
kind of hit wrong. And I was like, what on earth?
Did you hold your tongue? Were you okay?
Well, I'm like, we're not, going to comment on that because, it's one of those things that whatever we say is not going to be believed by the people who made. There were some really horrible, vicious comments said that if I lived in Rogersville and I read those, well, I do live in Rogersville and I read them, but if someone who was maybe moving here looked at that, they'd be like, what on earth? Yeah. Why would I want to live there? Because, these were mean, nasty, horrible things that people said.
Well,
and so at the end of the day, my point is the only reason I brought it up is to say, one, there was no cabal of wokeness where we determined this was going to be the way that we were going to implement our ideology onto the rest of the world. It literally just got typed on the paper that way.
Well, it makes a difference if you know people. Because I'm going to see that. I'm going to know Lauren, and I'm going to go, there's nothing here.
No.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I thought, man, this is a great reminder that we have to learn to ask better questions.
Yes.
Come with a question, not an accusation.
And
it will take you so far in life if you learn to ask first rather than make statements.
And if it would have been good if that person had asked that question of PTA, but they didn't, and they still haven't. No one has bothered to sit, and I put a post out there saying, "Hey, I'm the president of PTA. If you ever have a question, just send us a message." No one's asked any questions.
Talk to me.
So I thought,
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Jesus that was his thing. rather than starting with an answer. Let me start with a question, because then it always reveals the heart if you know how to ask good questions, and then you can decide, is this something to be angry about,
is there something I should be concerned about?
Well, the whole fall party, spring break, winter party, that's been around for 20 years.
Honestly, when I started here in the Rogersville district several years ago, I was surprised they still used the term. Apparently the school can use the term Christmas because it's a national holiday. Yeah. Is Easter a national holiday?
I believe no, because you don't get a bank. It's not a bank holiday.
Think so.
Yeah.
So you can,
hey,
that always just kind of surprised me, because I was like, well, since I was a kid in school. And here's the litmus test for this.
Beth. Perfect.
So
that's the problem with social media is people aren't used to getting punched in the mouth for saying something.
I was explaining this to my kids the other day. I told them when this all came around, 20-something years ago, even email, we all made our mistakes because it was so new.
Yeah,
I know better now.
Yes.
Yeah. And so they're like, Dad, you mean you used to be a keyboard warrior? I'm like, I said, we all kind of did. And then we learned from it and it's thought, well,
the nerds.
If I wouldn't say it to their face, then I shouldn't
say it. Real nerds, we used dial-up internet, got on local, they were called bulletin boards, BBS servers, and you could have these long...
I remember you actually dialed up the phone and put it on the modem. And
we've been doing this since the 80s.
But I just, my thing is, like, there was no issue here. And the other thing that I'm going to preach on a little bit about this is I've always been especially being a realtor, the people who move here, because I think if you can move anywhere in the United States and you decide you want to move to Rogersville, Missouri, I take that as a great, vote of confidence. Like, well, this is a great place to live. I'm so glad that you're here. But there were several people on this post that said, we've moved from other places. You need to fight this wokeness. You need to keep it from here. And I want to say, hold on.
That's why they moved.
Yeah, and I agree with their sentiment. It's not.
You live here too, though. Yeah. It's not our job to protect you. You've moved here. You are part of our community. What are you doing to protect your community? What did you do to protect your community from where you came?
Sure. So I get how easily they were riled, because it is a big thing. Yes. People are very on edge with where the economy is going, and again, I said we're coming out of the 2020 stuff, but we're also dealing with the fallout of all that. It's very real, so people are on edge. People 100%. Are. If you think of that Oliver Anthony song.
Oh my gosh!
That came out 2 weeks ago that just blew up the internet.
It is still blowing up the internet.
Why? Well, because that was a message that resonated with just about everyone. Yeah. And so that is proof that people truly are on edge and are just fed up with the nonsense.
Well, you talk about the folks that have moved here from places that has been taken over and ruined by wokeness. You understand why they're on edge, because they've already lived that. Yeah. And they've seen the way it happens.
They don't want to see it happen here.
Right. And the way it happens, see, it's not like people come marching in and say, we're going to make this woke. They're very subtle. Yeah. They're very disingenuous. They're very deceitful.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't want to do that. We just want to have a little bit of this.
Yeah.
And then it's in, and it just grows, because they're not honest about their agenda.
But I mean, the question is what was done in those communities to prevent that?
Right.
Yeah. And then I don't like the whole, you need to protect it.
Oh, I get that.
We are we. You have moved
That's
here.
That's a fair point.
You are part of the community now. What are you doing to help your community? How are you being involved?
Up. Yeah. Show up.
Yeah, and to the
Send
slide
PTA a message
that you're talking about, try going from winter party back to Christmas party and see what happens. Well, that's the true test.
Here's the test. The person who's going to rage about not using the word Christmas party will also rage when we use the word Halloween, right?
That's fair.
So it makes, and I even had my daughter come home from school last year and tell me, so-and-so, my friend, they don't celebrate Halloween. And I mean, she obviously had felt awkward because the word Halloween had been used, because she is a very, I don't know what type of Christianity what church she attends or whatever, but it was obviously an issue. So on that, you've got two things that contradict each other.
Sure.
It makes the most sense just to go with the most generic thing.
Well, that's been an ongoing conversation in Christianity.
Sure.
People look at me funny, we'll give out Halloween costumes as a church. That's the holiday of the devil. Why would you do that? And yet 2 weeks ago, I ran into an old friend, and he's very much, I won't say he's walked away from the faith, but he's very disenfranchised with church in general.
Sure.
But he recalled a time in his childhood where he said, my parents just went all out against Halloween. And he goes, I can remember we turned off all the lights and we hung out in the basement on Halloween night. Oh. And, that taught him something, and I always tell our people at church, make sure you have the best candy, that your light is on. I'm not saying you have to decorate and get into the whole thing, but what a great way.
You got people coming to your house.
Yeah. Your neighbors who you tell me you're praying for are actually knocking on your door.
So let's not hide in the basement.
Let's not hide in the basement.
Let's not hide in the basement with the lights off.
Yeah, so there's a way to engage culture without being
that's a great story to go along with that.
Anti-culture. But yeah, I think that's an interesting little dynamic that we have to deal with.
Yeah, and like I said, to me, this has been
Russians don't do Halloween, FYI.
This has been the school.
Tatiana told us that.
There you go. Oh, yeah, she talked about this at coffee the other day.
They didn't grow up celebrating it. I don't mean that they don't celebrate it.
In fairness, Russians didn't grow up celebrating a whole lot.
They don't celebrate the 4th of July either.
What's wrong with it?
Thanksgiving? Nothing.
We have
Tatiana
jokes.
walks in the door and takes a microphone. I'm going to set a couple of things straight. She would totally do that.
Yeah, she would be awesome.
But yeah.
We should have her back on the show again sometime.
We should. So that's my whole thing. Like, there literally was no conversation about this, and still nobody has asked.
We got laughs. We're okay.
We knew we were safe with that audience.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what the heck? Before you assume the worst, come talk to the source. Yep. Because then if the source tells you, oh yeah, this is my vendetta, I'm going to change this school, I am going to bring the wokeness to Rogersville, then you have a problem. But I'm not.
But they're never going to say that.
So you're on record saying the PTA has no interest in bringing woke culture.
It literally just got typed on the paper that way. And I will say, and we battled this last year with the family Valentine's dance. People equated it to, well, this must be associated with the transgender and stuff, and then the gender stuff. It's like, no. No, we just wanted to do a Valentine's dance with the family. Well, and that was it.
I don't want to say the term in their defense, but I can see where they're coming from.
They're coming from too, yeah.
Again, because there is such a sensitivity to all of this right now. And to a degree, I appreciate the concern.
Yes.
But we have to learn to be a community, which means you ask questions and you have a conversation and you listen.
People.
Yeah. You know what? You might enact change where we go, oh, I hadn't thought about that. Let's make a correction. That's what you do in the context of relationship.
Yeah.
Is that you come to a better understanding of something and you maybe make little tweaks. And so community is beautiful if we all give each other the benefit of the doubt and actually care enough to have a conversation.
Cussing people out and telling them they're horrible people.
That's not a conversation.
That's not a conversation.
And the more opportunities we have to get together as a community, the better off we are, which is why I always appreciated what your church and the coffee shop did with the First Fridays. I thought that was awesome.
Well, that's kind of the whole point of the family Valentine's dance. We brought everybody together. How often do you get a chance to do that? There was 500 people together in a room that night.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's great.
Right? Of our school community. So, and I mean, it was loved by all that attended, I think. I mean, my brain melted by the end of it between the music, screaming children, and popping balloons, but it was a great night.
So I think the answer is more parties.
More parties.
More
parties is what.
And it's like I said, just if something makes you cringe, just ask that's the good thing about the community of Rogersville. I feel like people are very available here. The people who are doing the things in the community are pretty easy to get a hold of. Your school district, you're not going to have a wall put up in front of you.
Yeah, they're accessible.
They're very much so. If you can just call them or you can send an email and you're going to get a response. Because guess what?
We have court the 1st and 3rd every Thursday morning. Just come and watch.
Just come watch, hang out.
Awesome. We have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, it's good, but that's what I'm saying. I wanted to get that clear the air because it was pretty bad. I mean, and if you read the comments, you're just going to be like, "That's no good. That's no good on so many levels." So, but yeah, that was last week. Good times.
Boom, and we're out of time. No, I'm kidding. We got a few minutes left. It's okay. We can keep talking if we have anything to say. I don't know.
Yes, people need to learn the dialogue, not monologue. Yep. I like that.
Well,
I
it's
like
just
that one
it's a lost art. I mean, you get into this. It takes about maybe 1 or 2 comments before somebody's calling names now.
Yeah.
You're a bigot, you're a homophobe, you're this, you're that, and it's like, okay, well, we're
It
done.
just shuts down
We're
the
just
conversation.
done.
It just shuts it down. It's done.
And I was like, why do people do that? Why are some people so unwilling? And I realized that's actually the theory behind critical theory. That's the way critical theory works, is if they're not on your team, they're bad. You don't even need to talk to them because they're inherently bad. And so critical theory is just taken over our culture, taken over our educational systems. And that's why we can't have a dialogue.
Yeah, it's actually designed to shut down conversations. It is. Yeah, here's how it is, deal with it.
And I'm not talking necessarily about critical race theory. Critical race theory is an aspect of critical
theory. Yeah, they don't know
theory.
that there's a forerunner, which is just critical theory.
Which the forerunner of that is called conflict theory, which comes from Marx.
Right.
Karl Marx.
Marxism,
Yeah, Marxism.
Right.
So.
Well, I think
that's why you can't have a conversation.
I think it goes back to, it's like you got to talk to people. You have to sit. You have to be able to sit in a room and communicate with people. Facebook should not be your primary form of communication.
True.
Period.
And
should
to
not
Beth's point there on the screen, you're right. It's easy to lodge complaints and not lift a finger. And then you're lodging the complaints towards those that are, by the way, working long hours and then volunteering for free at something like PTA or whatever.
Well, when you get to a point where
get involved,
you put the work in, and then all you face is, not all, because there's a whole lot of positive too. Yeah. But I mean, then you just have these really almost violent, critical moments. It's just like, whoa.
Then try to convince everybody they should volunteer.
Yeah.
Hey, come join me.
Just
you can get raked over the coals too.
Just ignore that. Right. Yeah. Just ignore that.
You can be in a line of fire as well. Come join us
for free and less time with your family.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's squirrely. And I hope at some point in our world we can get back to get more away from that type of communication and get back to the way that it used to be.
And it's hard, but I think what you have to do is just say, I would love to fix the country.
Yeah.
I'd love to fix the world. I'd love to fix the state. But we can't do that.
No, you can't fix the world.
But we can make an impact right here where we are.
Yeah. Yep.
And if everybody we'll start with some people to be intentional about being kind and being a good neighbor and having face-to-face communications.
Start with yourself, and then with your family. Teach this to your children, model this to your children, and then do this with your community.
You can send a private message on Facebook and ask the question instead of posting it on there.
Yeah.
Dwayne.
What? I can't believe everything I've been reading isn't true. Shocker.
Yeah.
All right, so here's my thought for the day.
Okay.
Everybody wants to have successful friends. Instead of trying to make successful friends, try to make your friends successful.
Oh, I like that.
And that's how you can have successful friends.
I like that.
Okay.
That's good.
Not quite
that's
Jack Handy, but that's pretty deep thought. I like
deep
that.
thoughts with Will Worsham. I do like that. And that goes right along with the conversation, right?
So. I think
supporting those people around you, and that's good.
I think that's also a rare trait, is wanting the people around you to succeed.
I do too. Yeah,
and doing whatever you can to help them be successful.
Yeah, there's a lot of tearing it down.
There's that meme that's always shared, like people will jump in and buy the first new pair of Michael Jordan shoes, or Kendall Jenner's new cosmetic stuff, but they will gripe at a local small business for raising their prices $1 or not being open on Tuesdays. But they're just more than happy to throw their money at some celebrity that lives, 2,000 miles away or whatever. But, if Bob down the street raises his prices 50 cents.
Oh, and that reminds me. Of course, Nourished Wellness Spa, Shauna, our good friend, right?
There she is, right there.
Right there. Has been great. I just got under 200 pounds with her help.
Good job. So that's awesome.
That's over 30 pounds lost in 3 or 4 months here. So that's pretty good. But this is a secret. I just found out this morning, and I can't tell you anything more.
Secret?
There's something new coming.
It's coming.
Something new coming. And it's going to be really, really cool.
It sounds like it's not very available.
I think she told me about this.
It's not very available. Last week. This is like, that's going to be one of the only places in Southwest Missouri that you can get this.
Which is very cool.
And there's a limited amount of signups available at a super discounted price. So if you go see Shauna, she'll tell you all about it.
I'm excited.
And you can get in at a extremely low price if you're one of the first very few people to get in there. So you need to call her today and say, you want to know what Will was talking about in the Morning Waffle?
That's a good teaser.
It's going to be cool.
It's very
gonna
cool.
be really
She's
cool.
great.
I'm excited. I got to try it ahead of time. It's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's neat.
Oh, I didn't know it was in.
It's not.
She told me.
It's not in. So
I was going to say she told me it was coming in. So now I want to know how you got to try it.
Well,
we better not say anything else.
They brought in a sample.
Okay.
And there was a period of time where she invited a few of us to come and try it out. And I got to go try it out, but then they took it away. And then she's having to make the decision, do I want to make this investment or not? And so she's just,
I didn't know
she
the backstory.
messaged me this morning. She's pulling the trigger on it. And we'd been talking about how to maybe make this work for her. And
let me tell you, as a small business owner, when you make a large investment, it's a scary thing.
Oh, it's very scary.
Is this going to pay off? It's a calculated risk.
And it's a commitment. And it's a commitment to the community and serving the community. And that's what she's making here.
Support small business in Rogersville, please.
Yes, please.
And all these folks on the screen, they're local. They're supporting you because they're supporting us, and so you need to support them.
Yep.
Emma's garden outpost is going to be opening the next couple of weeks too. I'm excited about that.
I supported her,
need some mums,
and she's been supporting me all summer and into the fall because I'm eating all the food out of the garden. And and thank you, Emma, for that.
I got 10 beef loin fillets from Valley Mountain over. I got them on Thursday, and Peter will tell you they are the best steaks ever eaten. After I got done with them,
that's a bold claim.
It really is
bold. I like it.
I did something kind of special with them.
Special steaks.
I'll tell you.
Okay, we're ready.
And then we got to shut this thing down. But I took 2 of the large boxes of beef broth, put them in the pot, boiled it, threw in a cup of thyme, a cup of rosemary, some
heavily seasoned.
salt.
Yeah.
And some other secret ingredients. Got that boiling, simmered it for an hour, then put a bunch of ice in it to cool it all down.
Yep.
And then put the fillets in that and let them soak in that for 2 days in the refrigerator.
Holy moly.
And then I
made a brine.
I made a brine.
Yeah.
And then I put them on the grill, the Weber with the Vortex, so I had indirect heat.
Really?
And got them up to about 35, 140.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Were they
So
cut?
good.
When the fillets were cut
Yeah,
when
they
you
were
grind
cut
them?
fillets. So they basically, I went in and I said, hey, Jason, you got any fillets without bacon? Because I really don't like bacon wrapped fillets. I just like the
I'd
fillets.
rather just have filet.
And he's like, well, I'm getting ready to cut some. So he cut them fresh for me right then, vacuum sealed them.
That's
I took them home and
very
did that.
interesting.
It was really good.
Very interesting.
Really good. I'm becoming a fan of brining meat.
It's a good thing.
It really works.
Locks in moisture.
Well, we're going to land the plane now. Thanks for watching us again on the Morning Waffle, and we'll be back next week with more waffles.
See you guys.
Waffling. Bye.